In 1534, Henry VIII broke with the Catholic Church over the question of the divorce of his wife, Catherine of Aragon. In the Act of Supremacy 1534, Henry VIII declared himself to be the only supreme head of the Church in England. It was under this act that St. Thomas More and St. John Fisher were executed for treason because they refused to break allegiance with the Pope. Under the reign of Elizabeth I, Parliament passed two laws in 1559. The first abolished papal supremacy over the Church in England, and established the supremacy of the English monarchs over the Church. The second law abolished the Catholic Mass and replaced it with the Book of Common Prayer. The first offense against these laws called for confiscation of property. The second offense, imprisonment. The third offense was considered treason and punishable by death. Thus, it was illegal to be Catholic in England for over 200 years. The memorials of the martyrs of Douay commemorates 160 priests, laymen, and religious who studied at the English College of Douay, France, later moved to Reims, and then returned to minister to covert Catholics in England during a period of government persecution of the Church. The priests who returned to England knew they were going to martyrdom, some in less than 1 year after ordination. They have individual memorials, but are also remembered collectively in a communal celebration.
Blessed William Hart was born in Wales, Somerset in 1588. While at Lincoln College, Oxford, a brilliant scholar, he turned his back on the world, and embraced the faith. At Douay, he was a model to the future martyrs there. In England, Yorkshire was the field of his priestly labours, and, though they were for little over a year, their success was such as to earn for him the title of Apostle of that county. His special devotion was to the Catholic prisoners in their fettered dungeons, and he visited them daily at this period of his life. Betrayed by an apostate, he was imprisoned underground in York Castle, and doubly fettered, as he seemed so elated. He triumphantly refuted the Protestant ministers at his trial, before he suffered. He begged his spiritual children to remain indoors on the day of his execution, unless they could assist at it with a joyous face and a tranquil mien. He was hanged at York, the 15th of March 1583. Mementos of the English Martyrs and Confessors, Father Henry Bowden, 1910.
Writing to afflicted Catholics. Stand fast, brethren, stand steadfast, I say, in that faith which Christ planted, the apostles preached, the martyrs confirmed, the whole world approved and embraced. Stand firm, in that faith which, as it is the oldest, is also the truest and most sure, and which is most in harmony with the Holy Scriptures, and with all antiquity. Stand constant in that faith, which has a worship worthy of all honor and reverence, sacraments most holy, abounding in spiritual consolation. For if ye have remained constant in this faith, that is, in the Catholic Church, in the Ark of Noah, in the house of Rahab, with what joy and consolation of the soul will ye not be flooded? Yours will be the sacrament of penance, for the cleansing of your souls. Yours the sacrament of the body and blood of our Saviour, for the refreshing of your souls. You will be partakers of all the satisfaction and merits of Christ, of the fellowship of the saints, of the suffrages, prayers, fasts, and alms deeds of all the just, whom the Catholic Church throughout the world holds in her bosom. O blessed they, yea, and thrice blessed, who in this deplorable world stand firm in the faith of Christ. Writing to his Protestant mother. Alas, sweet mother, why do you weep? Why do you lament? Why do you take so heavily my honorable death? Know you not that we are born once to die, and that, always in this life, we may not live? Know you not how vain, how wicked, how inconstant, how miserable this life of ours is? Do you not consider my calling, my estate, my profession? Do you not remember that I am going to a place of all pleasure and felicity? Why, then, do you weep? Why do you mourn? Why do you cry out? But perhaps you will say, I weep not so much for your death, as I do for your being hanged, drawn, quartered. My sweetest mother, it is the favourablest, honourablest, happiest death, that ever could have chanced unto me. I die, not for knavery, but for verity. I die, not for treason, but for religion. I die, not for any ill demeanor or offense committed, but only for my faith, for my conscience, for my priesthood, for my blessed Savior Jesus Christ. And to tell you truth, if I had 10,000 lives, I am bound to lose them all, rather than to break my faith, and offend my God. We are not made to eat, drink, sleep, but to serve God, and to the cost of our lives. Writing to his Protestant mother. Tell me, for God's sake, would you not gladly see me a bishop, king, or emperor? Yea, verily you would. How glad, then, may you be to see me a martyr, a saint, a most glorious and bright star in heaven. The joy of this life is nothing, and the joy of the other is everlasting, and therefore, thrice happy may you think yourself that your son, William, is going from earth to heaven. I can say no more, but desire you to be of good cheer, because myself am well. Good mother, be content with that which God hath appointed for my perpetual comfort, and now, in your old days, serve God in the old Catholic manner. Pray unto him daily. Beseech him heartily to make you a member of his church, and that he will save your soul. For Jesus' sake, good mother, serve God. Read that book I gave you, and die a member of Christ's body, and then one day we shall meet in heaven by God's grace. God comfort you, Jesus save your soul, and send you once to heaven. Farewell.